since it's the first time, let's do one run through just practicing pronouncing it, and then we'll go back and do the 3 by 3. Okay, so arubaito. Okay, arubaito. Yeah, that's, yeah. Kaimono. Kurasu. Anata. Isu. Inu. Omiyage. Kodomo. Koban. Sorry. My glasses are not showing me the 10 tens. Okay, which way is it? No, that's the blurry. Okay, so gohan. There we go. Shashin. Tsukue. Tegami. Neko. Han. Hito. Mieru. Otera. Koen. Super. Departo. Baste. Byoin. Hotel. Honya. Machi. Restaurant. Kino. Jikan. Ichijikan. Senshu. Toki. Getsuyobi. Kayobi. Suiyobi. Mokuyobi. Kinyobi. Ao. Aru. Kao. Kaku. Toru. Matsu. Wakaru. Iru. Gurai. Gomen nasai. Dakara. Takusan. To. Doushite. Hitoride. And then I've got 2 vocabulary words that I wrote in that I want you to add to your list. Hara means from, and made means to or until.
Can you say those again?
Yes. We'll write them down. Okay, so here. Kara is from, and made is, sorry, I'm writing wrong language, to or until. Okay, kara made. And this can be used for from one place to another place, or from one time to another time. So if the class meets from 1 to 3, ichiji kara sanji made would be your, way of expressing that. If you're going from Tokyo to Kyoto, Tokyo kara Kyoto made. Okay? So those get used some in this chapter, and for some reason they never really explain them, so I added them in. Okay, and if you flip the page, you'll find that there's another little piece of vocabulary list on the next page. So let's do those as well. Nigi, hidari, mae, ushiro, naka, ue, shita, chikaku, tonari, aida. Okay. So all of those words are also part of your vocabulary for this chapter. They are required. They're not optional like that supplementary list from lesson 1 was. Okay, so now we're going to do the 3 by 3. Arubaito. Arubaito.
Part-time job.
Arubaito.
Part-time job.
Arubaito. Part-time job.
Arubaito.
Part-time job.
Arubaito.
Part-time job.
Arubaito.
Kaimono.
Shopping.
Kaimono.
Shopping.
Kaimono.
Shopping.
Shopping.
Kaimono.
Shopping.
Kaimono.
Shopping.
Kaimono.
Kurasu.
Class.
Kurasu.
Class.
Kurasu.
Class.
Class.
Kurasu.
Class.
Kurasu.
Class.
Kurasu.
Anata.
You.
Anata.
You.
Anata.
You.
You.
Anata.
You.
Anata.
You.
Anata.
Isu.
Chair.
Isu.
Chair.
Isu.
Chair.
Chair.
Isu.
Chair.
Isu.
Chair.
Isu.
Inu.
Dog.
Inu.
Dog.
Inu.
Dog.
Dog.
Inu.
Dog.
Inu.
Dog.
Inu.
Omiyage.
Souvenir.
Omiyage.
Souvenir.
Omiyage.
Souvenir.
Souvenir.
Omiyage.
Souvenir.
Omiyage.
Souvenir.
Omiyage.
Kodomo.
Child.
Kodomo.
Child.
Kodomo.
Child.
Child.
Kodomo.
Child.
Kodomo.
Child.
Kodomo.
Gohan.
Rice.
Gohan.
Rice.
Gohan.
Rice.
Rice.
Gohan.
Meal.
Gohan.
Rice.
Gohan.
Shashin.
picture,
shashin,
photograph,
shashin,
picture,
picture,
写真
photo,
写真
photo,
写真
tsukue,
desk,
tsukue,
desk,
tsukue,
desk,
desk,
机
desk,
机
desk,
机
tegami,
letter,
tegami,
letter,
tegami,
letter,
letter,
tegami,
letter,
tegami,
letter,
tegami,
nickel,
cat,
nickel,
cat,
nickel, cat,
nickel,
cat,
nickel,
cat,
nickel,
pun,
bread,
pun,
bread,
pun,
bread,
bread,
pan,
bread,
pan,
bread,
pan,
hito, hito,
person,
hito,
person,
person,
hito,
person,
hito,
person,
hito,
meru,
email,
meru,
email,
meru,
email,
email,
meru,
email,
meru,
email,
meru,
otera,
temple,
otera,
temple,
otera,
temple,
temple,
otera,
temple,
otera,
temple,
otera,
koen,
park,
koen,
park,
koen,
park,
park,
koen,
park,
koen,
park,
koen,
super,
supermarket,
super,
supermarket,
super,
supermarket,
supermarket,
super,
supermarket,
super,
supermarket,
super,
departo,
department store,
departo,
department store,
departo,
department store,
department store,
department,
department store,
department,
department store,
department,
busate,
bus stop,
busate,
bus stop,
busate,
bus stop,
bus stop,
bus today,
bus stop,
bus today,
bus stop,
bus today,
病院、
hospital,
病院、
hospital,
病院、
hospital,
hospital,
Wyoming,
hospital,
Wyoming,
hospital,
Wyoming,
ホテル、
hotel,
ホテル、
hotel,
ホテル、
hotel,
ホテル、
hotel,
ホテル、
hotel,
ホテル、
hotel,
本屋、
bookstore,
本屋、
bookstore,
本屋、
bookstore,
bookstore,
Honya,
bookstore,
Honya,
bookstore,
Honya,
町、
cities,
町、
town,
町、
city,
city,
machi,
town,
machi,
town,
machi,
レストラン、
restaurant,
レストラン、
restaurant,
レストラン、
restaurant,
レストラン、
restaurant,
レストラン、
restaurant,
レストラン、
restaurant,
昨日、
yesterday,
昨日、
yesterday,
昨日、
yesterday,
yesterday,
kino,
yesterday,
kino,
yesterday,
kino,
時間、
hours,
時間、
hours,
時間、
hours,
hours,
chicken,
hours,
chicken,
hours,
chicken,
1時間、
1 hour,
1時間、
1 hour,
1時間、
1 hour,
1 hour,
1時間、
1 hour,
1時間、
1 hour,
1時間、
先週、
last week,
先週、
last week,
先週、
last week,
last week,
先週、
last week,
先週、
last week,
先週、
時、
when,
時、
at the time,
時、
when,
when,
toki,
at the time of,
toki,
when.
toki,
Put a pin in that, we're coming back to it. 月曜日、 Monday, 月曜日、
Monday,
月曜日、
Monday,
Monday,
月曜日、
Monday,
月曜日、
Monday,
月曜日、
火曜日、
Tuesday,
火曜日、
Tuesday,
火曜日、
Tuesday,
Tuesday,
火曜日、
Tuesday,
火曜日、
Tuesday,
火曜日、
水曜日、
Wednesday,
水曜日、
Wednesday,
水曜日、
Wednesday,
Wednesday,
水曜日、
Wednesday,
水曜日、
Wednesday,
水曜日、
木曜日、
Thursday,
木曜日、
Thursday,
木曜日、
Thursday,
Thursday,
木曜日、
Thursday,
木曜日、
Thursday,
木曜日、
金曜日、
Friday,
金曜日、
Friday,
金曜日、
Friday,
Friday,
金曜日、
Friday,
金曜日、
Friday,
金曜日、
青、
To meet.
青、
to meet,
青、
to see,
to meet, to see, to meet, ある、
there is,
ある、
there is,
ある、
there is,
there is,
ある、
there is,
ある、
there is,
ある、
買う、
to buy,
買う、
to buy,
買う、
to buy,
to buy,
買う、
to buy,
買う、
to buy,
買う、
書く、
to write,
書く、
to write,
書く、
to write,
to write,
書く、
to write,
書く、
to write,
書く、
取る、
to take,
取る、
to take,
取る、
to take,
to take,
取る、
to take,
取る、
to take,
取る、
待つ、
to wait,
待つ、
to wait,
待つ、
to wait,
to wait,
待つ、
to wait,
待つ、
to wait,
待つ、
わかる、
to understand,
わかる、
to understand,
わかる、
to understand,
to understand,
わかる、
to understand,
わかる、
to understand,
わかる、
わ
かる、
いる、 いる、
is it,
yeah, person's in or stays at, いる,
is person stays at,
okay, a person stays at,
いる、
a person is in,
いる、
a person is in,
いる、
Gurai,
about,
gurai,
about,
gurai,
about,
about,
kurai,
about,
kurai,
about.
kurai.
Gomen nasai,
I'm sorry.
gomen nasai,
I'm sorry.
gomen nasai.
Sorry.
I'm sorry,
Gomen nasai.
I'm sorry,
Gomen nasai.
I'm sorry.
Gomen nasai.
Dakara,
So,
dakara,
therefore,
dakara,
so,
so,
dakara,
therefore,
dakara,
so.
dakara,
Taksan,
a lot,
taksan,
many,
taksan.
a lot,
A lot,
takusan,
many,
takusan,
a lot.
takusan,
To,
together,
to,
together,
to.
together,
Together
to,
with a person,
to,
together with.
to,
どうして、
why,
どうして、
why,
どうして。
why,
Why,
どうして、
why,
どうして、
why.
どうして、
一人で、
alone,
一人で、
alone,
一人で、
alone,
alone,
一人で、
alone,
一人で、
alone.
一人で、
から、
from,
から、
from,
から、
from,
from,
から、
from,
から、
from.
から、
まで、
until,
まで、
until,
まで、
until,
to,
Monday,
until, to.
Monday,
右、
Right.
右、
right,
右、
right,
right, right,
右、
right. 左、
left,
左、
left,
左、
left,
left,
左、
left,
左、
left.
左、
前、
front,
前、
front,
前、
front,
front,
前、
front,
前、
front.
前、
後ろ、
back,
後ろ、
back,
後ろ、back,
後ろ、
back,
後ろ、
back.
後ろ、
中、
inside,
中、
inside,
中。
inside,
inside,
中、
inside,
中、
inside.
中、
上、
above,
上、
on,
上、
on,
on,
上、
on,
上、
on.
上、
下、
under,
下、
under,
下。
under,
under,
下、
under,
下、
under.
下、
近く、
Nearby.
近く、
nearby,
近く。
nearby,
nearby,
近く、
near,
近く、
nearby.
近く、
隣、
next,
隣、
next,
隣、
next,
next to,
隣、
next to,
隣、
next to.
隣、
間、
between,
間、
between,
間。
between,
between,
間、
between,
間、
between.
間。
Okay, a few notes. Next, tonari, I call it next to because it means like next to something, not like the next thing in a sequence. Okay? It's not like
次、
1, 2, 3, that's tsugi. Next to, tonari is like, Ryan-san wa Himena-san no tonari desu. He's sitting next to her. Okay, so it's next to. I consider that a mistranslation on their part. Two other things I want to point out. The hospital pronunciation is very important and significant. Pay attention to the fact that it is byoin, not byoin. Okay? This is a hospital. This is a beauty salon. So be careful of those two. It's literally, that's the whole difference. Small yo, big yo. In terms of spelling. So this is byoin because this byo means illness. Okay? Byoin is like beauty and makeup place. So byoin is where you go to get your hair done. Byoin is where you go if you're sick. Yeah, so that's an important distinction that a lot of textbooks fail to point out specifically. So, important pronunciation clue. The other thing that they give it to you and they give you a little hint about the grammar structure, but I think they should teach it as a grammar point, and they don't, which is the toki thing with time. Okay, it's this kanji, which you already know, right? But it's instead of being pronounced ji, it's being pronounced toki. and it's going to be used in phrases like kodomo no toki, when someone was a child, okay? Or koukou no toki would be when someone was in high school. Or daigaku no toki, when someone was in college, talking about the past tense, talking about at some point in that person's past, things that happened or things that that person used to do that maybe they still do or maybe they don't do that any longer. Right?
It's usually always past tense. You can't use it for like future tense or when this will happen.
It could, I suppose, be used that way, but in this chapter at least, they're always using it in the past tense, I believe.
Okay.
So that's where our focus is going to be. But that's one of those things where all they do is they put it in the time section and they tell you the when at time of with no, but they don't give it as a grammar structure. They don't give it any further explanation. And it comes up in your workbook assignments and some of your textbook assignments to use it that way without having given you any further explanation than just that little thing in the vocab list. So I like to explain it because otherwise people come to me saying, I was trying to do this part of the homework and I have no clue what they're asking for. So now you know. Okay? So, any questions about those vocabulary? Okay, we're going to take a look at the kanji next. Okay, so I'm going to show you the whole words and then we're also going to talk a little bit about how to write some of them. Okay, so here we have kinyobi. Okay, everybody look at it together with me and let's say it together. Kinyobi. 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 Which means Friday. Yes, this one is Friday. Yep. Suiyobi. Yep. They're not in order. Okay. Suiyobi, which means Wednesday. Yes. Suiyobi. 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 And sui is also, when it's by itself, water, which is pronounced when it's like your drink, it is mizu. Okay? So, if you think about mizu is water, suiyobi is Wednesday, so this is like water day, Wednesday, water day. They both start with W, water day, Wednesday. So that's a way to remember suiyobi. Okay? Mokuyobi.
Tree day.
Tree day, yes. This one is a tree symbol. Okay. Doyobi, which is Earth Saturday, and yes, it's Earth Day, which, we have a different meaning for that. But earth, soil, maybe it relates back to the Saturday. Saturn was like an earth spirit, a forest spirit in old European mythology. So maybe you can make an association between Earth Day and Saturn Day because it was a sort of earth spirit. Okay. Getsuyobi. And this getsu is also sometimes pronounced gatsu, but ichigetsu, ichigatsu, yeah, gatsu when it's the names of the months of the year. Getsu when it's part of the word for Monday, which comes from moon day in English. Okay, so Monday, moon day, getsuyobi. Okay.
Getsu means moon.
Yeah, getsu means moon, yes.
Nichiyobi.
Nichiyobi is
Sunday.
Sunday, Nichiyobi. And what's that symbol? Remember that from our radicals? That's the sun, right? So Sunday, literally. Okay, Nichiyobi.
Kayobi.
This is kayobi. And this symbol is
Fire.
fire. So for whatever reason, Tuesday is fire day. I don't know why. That's the one they picked for Tuesday, kayobi. Let's find out.
Sui.
So this is the sui from suyobi, but when it stands alone, it's pronounced mizu, and it means water, like the stuff flowing in a river or in your water bottle. Mizu.
Sanji.
Yes, sanji, you already know that part, right? Han means half. So 30 minutes after, half past. So now you have the kanji for half. And it kind of looks like somebody chopping some boards in half, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah? Can you see that? It's like the path of the karate chop hand is going to take, right? The first board already got broken, and the next two are going to break, right? Can you see that? So that's the han. So sanji han. So cutting things in half. This is one of our new ones. Stop, yes, stop, which means under. And can you tell that it means under? Kind of looks like a drawing of under, doesn't it? So that's one of these that, it started out just, okay, how the heck do we draw an abstract concept like under? Well, that's what they came up with. Stop. Okay. If that other one was stop, this one should be ue, which is on or above or on top of. Okay? It's on in the sense that these pages are on the desk. That kind of on. Not the TV is on. Okay? But the book is on the table, kind of on, is this ue. Okay? And it, again, it looks like something sitting on a surface, right? Yes, hitori de. Okay, so hitori is the pronunciation that Japanese uses for one person. It's not ichijin, okay? There's no such word in Japanese. It's hitori, okay? Right, that would be too close to ichiji, wouldn't it? So, yeah, you want to be able to tell the difference between one person and 1 hour, right? Or 1 o'clock. So, hitori is one person. Hitori de means alone, as in you're doing it by yourself. Okay? Make sense? So this de is like by means of, you could translate it as that. So it's like saying by means of one person. One person is doing whatever that activity is. So hitori de, alone. You're doing it alone. Okay? Ichigatsu. Ichigatsu is which month? January. There you go. First month, January. Ichigatsu. So can you guess what February would be? Nigatsu. There you go. Sangatsu would be?
March.
Yep. Shigatsu would be? April. Gogatsu? May. Rokugatsu? June. Shichigatsu?
July.
July. Yep. Hachigatsu? August. Kugatsu?
September.
Yep, September. Notice it's kugatsu. Okay. Then jugatsu would be October. Juichigatsu
November.
and junigatsu, December. So you can do all the months of the year now. Yay! So we've got days of the week and months of the year.
Oh, not like Japan.
Yeah.
I knew that. Nihon.
Nihon, yeah. This is the same ni that is pronounced nichi in nichiobi, and it's also the bi at the end of all the yobi, right? And in this case, it's just pronounced ni. Still means sun. And this hon, same word that means book, But in this case, it doesn't really mean book, it means origin. Sun's origin, Nihon. Land of the rising sun. Heard of that one? That's where it came from. The term land of the rising sun in English came from trying to literally translate Nihon. Okay? So that's Nihon. Hon, which in this case is book, which you could think of as the origin of ideas and, history and stuff that's been written down. That's where you get it from. Somebody else wrote it down and you want to know about it, you go find the book that it's written in and you read it. So, hon. Okay. That one should be, yep, Nihonjin. Self-explanatory, right? You already know those kanji now. So, Nihonjin. And Naka, which means inside or middle. Okay?
That one of the kanji with China.
Yes, it's the first part of China. Chugoku is literally Middle Kingdom. Yeah. So again, one of those things you've heard China called that before, didn't know why? It's a translation of the term in Chinese. Okay, so we've got Naka. Okay, so now let's talk about how to write some of these and some mnemonics that will help us remember not only how to write them, but also what they mean and all the connections. Okay, so I'll start with Mizu since that one's... Okay, so origins of the kanji for Mizu started out as 3 little squiggles representing flowing water like in a stream, right? Over time, this middle one straightened out. This one got that kind of an angle, and this one turned into 2. So what we have now is that. Okay, so it started like that. Maybe this one was a little shorter, and then over time it turned into that. Okay, but that's still Mizu, and it's still the Sui and Suyobi. Okay, Kin. Anybody remember what kin by itself meant?
Gold.
Gold, right? So you can try to picture with me. Remember, we're going way back to ancient times, right? So what do you do with your gold if you've got a whole lot of it?
You spend
You put it in a little storage house, and you keep it until you need it, right? You're not going to spend it all at once.
No.
So this could be representing the roof of your storage house, right? Your gold storage place. Maybe that's the floor. And this is the stacks and stacks and stacks of gold bars because you're rich. Okay? And there's so many of them. They're not only stacked neatly, there's some that are sort of jumbled together. Can you see that? Okay, so that is gold stored. Okay, so that's the kin in kinyobi, golden day. Everybody likes kinyobi because that's usually payday for most people, right? So I think that's why they picked that one to be for Friday. Kinyobi, golden day, payday, money day. If you put an o in front of this in Japanese, instead of being pronounced kin, they pronounce it kane, okane. Anybody heard that term before? Okane means money. Yeah, so, and of course, historically, gold was one of the first kinds of metal to be used for currency and to make coins out of, right? So, okane, and the kin in kinyobi. It's also the kin in things that are gold colored, like kingyo, goldfish. So, it's a fun one to know. Okay. Here we have Suyobi. Remember that again? Okay. So again, we've got water day, Wednesday, Suyobi. So So that's a way to remember that one. Okay, what about mokuyobi? Thursday. So can anybody come up with a reason why Thursday is tree day?
We got to start with a T.
Okay, they both start with T. There you go. Thursday is tree day. And they both start with T something combination sounds, TH and TR. Okay, so tree day, Thursday. And this tree, the original drawing was something more like that, where you had, you know, branches and trees and then roots, and somehow or other the roots got really big and the branches got really small. Okay, but it still looks vaguely tree-like, right? Except for it's winter time because there's no leaves on the branches. Okay, so we've got moku from mokuyobi. Moku also by extension means wood, you know, because you get wood from trees, so makes sense kind of. Okay, the do in doyobi, this was one of the radicals also, right? You guys have had some of these as radicals. Remember them from radical time? Isn't it nice that they're already familiar? Doesn't that help? So soil, the origin was a little sprout coming up out of the ground, because it's really hard to draw a picture of soil, right? And have it look like anything. So the do in doyobi is from that origin. And we decided that doyobi, Earth Day, Saturday, Saturn was a sort of a spirit related to earth and nature, so doyobi. Getsu for getsuyobi, moon. We had this radical as well, right? And now we also know that you can put any number 1 through 12 in front and get the names of the months, right? So Junigatsu would be December. And guess what? Yeah, Nijugo Nichi. Can you guess? Mm-hmm.
Christmas.
Yep. So dates are not that hard to do now. You've got Getsu, you've got Nichi, right? Nijugo Nichi, 25th. All of the dates, 1 through 31, get written this way. Some of the pronunciations get a little bit weird. 1 through 10 in particular are odd pronunciations. From 11 onwards, most of them are pretty normal. It's 1 through 10 that's kind of weird. But even if the pronunciations are odd, the kanji stays easy. Doesn't matter whether you're talking about the 1st of the month, the 31st of the month, or any day in between, it always ends with this kanji. Even if it doesn't get pronounced as Nichi sometimes, it still ends with that kanji. So visually, you can now identify any date on a Japanese document, month and date, and day of the week. Okay, the year might be a different story because there's a couple of different ways they do years in Japanese. And they can do the Western style year, which would be 2015 with the year kanji after it, or they can do the Heisei year, which, let's see, I want to say that it's somewhere around, let's see, it's 15, so 25, 26, 27, something like that, Heisei?
Heisei from 89, though.
Yeah, 89 on.
So it should be
89 is equal to Heisei 1, I think. So I can't do math in my head, but
should be
27 then? Okay, so this year might be Heisei 27 or 20, whatever. One of those. But at any rate, at least the months and the dates are pretty easy, and the days of the week you're learning too. So you can do a lot with dates now in Japanese. So that was Getsuyobi, and we've also got gatsu for the months. Ichigatsu, Nigatsu, Sangatsu. Notice that the pronunciations are specific for the numbers that have more than one pronunciation. Shigatsu, what's the other one? Kugatsu. Is there another one? Is there another one that was an odd pronunciation? Or is it just those two? Oh, Shichigatsu. There we go. Shichigatsu. Those three, notice that it's shi, shichi, and ku. Okay, so shigatsu, shichigatsu, kugatsu. Okay, but everything else about the months is pretty easy. Okay, this one is Nichiyobi, and we already know the sun symbol, right? Did we talk about the origins of those?
Yeah.
That was the original shape of the sun symbol, and then over time it kind of changed, got squared off, and eventually came to be the modern style. Same thing with Getsu. Started out as a crescent moon with a couple of clouds floating across it, and then over time the crescent opened up at the bottom, squared off at the top, and the two clouds got shorter. Okay, so you can kind of see the moon and the sun in the original symbols more than in the modern ones, but if you know the progression, then it makes a lot of sense. Okay, Ka from Kaiobi, Fire Day, started out as basically flame with a teepee of sticks, kind of, and then over time it changed to that form. Okay, so that's Kaiobi, Fire Day. So, anyone have a good mnemonic for why Tuesday would be Fire Day? Torch. Okay, Tuesday, torch. There you go. Okay, and again, they both start with T, and this time they're both words that just have a T, then a vowel, not a T consonant combination before the vowel. That works. Sanji Han. So we talked about Han, meaning half, and it looks like you're chopping some wood boards in half with your karate chop, right? Han. Okay. Shita and ue basically represent exactly what they mean. Ue, shita, right? Above and below, on top and underneath. Yes. Okay, so ue and shita. Okay, person was a radical we already had, right? It can be pronounced jin or hito or nin, depending on the context. When it's one person, it's pronounced hitori. So hitoride means alone. Okay. Ichigatsu we talked about. Nihon. Now you might be wondering, how the heck did they get origin out of this shape? I don't remember if we talked about this with the radicals or not, but here you have what? Ki or moku, right, which is tree, right? This little line represents the sun just starting to peek up over the horizon in the east at sunrise. That's what that line represents. Okay, so if you can imagine, you're standing here facing east and you're seeing the sun's origin, hence the meaning origin. Make sense? Because how do you draw a symbol of origin, right?
Is that behind the tree?
Yeah, so it's you're like standing here, there's a bunch of trees, you're looking toward the sunrise and you're seeing the sun just start to come up through the trees, and that's the origin meaning. And the reason why Japan is sun's origin is because the name came from China. From China's perspective, where is Japan? To the east, right? So if you're standing on the east coast of China, looking toward Japan, you might not actually see the Japanese islands, no matter how clear the air was back then. I don't think you can see that far. But you know Japan is over there, sun's origin. From the Chinese perspective, it looks like the sun comes up from Japan. So land of the rising sun, Nihon. And that was pretty much, as far as they could tell, that was kind of the end of the earth, right? After that, it's this great big ocean. They didn't know there was any land beyond there. Right? So that's Nihon. And then, of course, hon, books, moto, yeah, yes, it's the moto that's in family names like Hashimoto, Yamamoto, Kumamoto is a place name in Japan, places like that. And then Nihonjin, right? And you already know that vocabulary word, now you've got the kanji for it. Nihonjin.
What's the difference between Nihon and Nippon?
Nippon is still written with these same kanji. It's considered to be a more nationalistic word for Japan. So if a politician uses it, for example, they're being like really gung-ho for Japan, Nippon, instead of Nihon. Nippon is also somewhat associated with Japanese aggression in World War II, so it's not as much in fashion as a word for Japan as Nihon is. Nihon is more associated with peaceful Japan. Nippon was more associated with the aggressive, warlike Japan of the 40s and before. So lots of Japanese people don't use the term Nippon anymore, or not as often. And this one, of course, is Naka, and it's also the Chu in Chugoku, Middle Kingdom, China. And it kind of looks like you're pointing to the middle of a box, right? You've got a box here, and something in the middle of it, Naka. Not to be confused with Han, half, where you're chopping some boards in half, right? So you've got the middle of the box, and you've got things getting chopped in half. Middle and half. Okay, any questions about any of the kanji? Okay, let's look at some Renshu first. Okay, so the very first Renshu is Byōin ga arimasu. We're just looking at the picture and saying what exists. Okay? Very simple. So if you're talking about things that just exist, we're not talking about where they are, we're not talking about location, just there is a dog, there is a building, there is a hospital, that kind of simple existence. There are two verbs for this in Japanese. Okay, one of them is arimasu, right? And the other one is imasu. And who knows what the difference is between them?
Isn't arimasu for non-living?
Yes. Inanimate.
Inanimate, yeah, that's what I meant.
And imasu is for animate. Okay? And so when they say inanimate versus animate, it's not the same thing as living versus not living. Okay? Because plants are living, but they can't get up and walk. Right? So animate is things like animals and people that can move of their own accord. Okay? Inanimate is anything that's stationary unless you pick it up. Okay? So things that are not alive obviously are inanimate. Books and trees, well, and trees are alive, but they're also inanimate because they don't get up and walk, right? Okay, so you can say, for example, 病院があります. There is a hospital, right? You can say 猫がいます. There is a cat. Notice the difference in choice of verb. So, if we're talking about 病院があります versus, let's use 猫. 猫がいます. Neko is a cat. Yeah. Okay. So, and notice that the particle that these guys take is ga. Okay. Ga arimasu. So we've got the particle ga for both of these. Okay. So let's look at the picture, and we're just going to make some simple statements about things that you can spot in that picture. So you see Mayari-san and Kenji-san in the foreground with the binoculars. So you're speaking for them, basically, saying what you can spot in the town. They must be like up on a hill somewhere above this little town. Okay, so who wants to start? はい。
スーパーがあります。
はい、スーパーがあります. Okay, what else? Ellie, you want to be next?
犬がいます。
はい、犬がいます。ね。かわいい。Cute little guy, huh? Okay, 上田さん?
図書館があります。
はい、図書館があります。はい、キミさん?
喫茶店があります。
はい、喫茶店があります。はい、マリアンさん?
猫があります。
猫が
あります。います。
います。There you go. Okay, ライアンさん?
郵便局があります。
はい、郵便局がありますね。はい。Okay. Anybody spot anything else that we didn't mention?
バスがあります。
はい、バスがありま
バ
す。
ス停があります。
Okay.
自転車があります。
整理。
自転車がありますか? 自転車?
はい
Oh yeah, 自転車. There it is. Okay. セールがあります. What else?
公園があります。
公園があります. はい。
バス停。
バス停があります. Yeah, that was mentioned. What about next to the 郵便局? What's that other place that's having a sale? デパートがあります。はい。人がいます。はい。人がいます。
病院
はい。
があります。
はい。病院があります。And it looks like there's a doctor there. 医者がいます. There you go. Okay. So, good. So everybody gets how that works? Arimasu and imasu. Okay. Now the next part, we're asking and answering questions. So let's let Ryan start this one. Ichiban, you're going to read the question for us out loud.
あなたの町に日本のレストランがありますか?
Okay, so what's it asking, first of all?
Is there a Japanese restaurant in your city?
はい、そうですね. Okay, Himena-san, you get to answer. 答えてください。
はい、あります。
はい、あります。はい。Okay, じゃあ2番読んでください。
あなたの家に猫がいますか?
Okay, エリさん?
It's asking if there's a cat at your home.
Yeah, so she's asking, is there a cat in your house?
Oh, okay, so it'd be like, yeah, 猫があります。猫がいません。
There you go, 猫がいません。はい。 じゃあ3番読んでください。エリさん、
あ、
3番。
あなたの学校に何がありますか？
はい、何がありますか？ So, what's it asking? Yeah. あなたの学校に何がありますか？
Asking where their school.
No, in your school, 学校に right? That's in the school. 何がありますか?
What is in your school?
Yeah, what do you have in your school? What exists in your school? So, for example, these guys, what you're sitting in, thing on the wall, whatever you want to mention. Bookstore, library, whatever.
図書館がありますか?
はい、図書館があります. So that works, right? Yeah, you could also say 本屋があります, right? We have a bookstore. You could say レストランがあります, right? We've got Chick-fil-A. You know, lots of things you could say for that answer, right? じゃあ4番読んでください.
あなたの学校に日本人の学生がいますか?
はい、あなたの学校に日本人の学生がいますか? So what's that asking?
If there's Japanese students in my school.
Exactly. Are there any Japanese students in this school? And the answer would be?
There's some. Hi.
はい。
います。
はい、います。いいですね。So that's the easiest way to answer, right? はい、います is a correct answer. If you wanted to be longer-winded, you could be, right? You could say はい、日本人の学生がいます. But if you just want to say はい、います, that's fine. Okay? じゃあ次の質問、5番読んでください.
Five. Okay. De pato ni nani ga arimasu ka?
はい。デパートに何がありますか? マリアムさん。So what's it asking first of all? デパートに means
Department store.
yeah, at or in the department store. Okay. 何がありますか?
What's in the department store?
Yeah, exactly. What's in the department store? Or in a department store in general.
In general.
Okay. So
Kutsu
okay.
ga arimasu.
That works. Yeah, kutsu ga arimasu. Yeah, there are lots of things in our department
Yeah.
store, right? Kutsu ga arimasu. Shoes, right? You could also say hito ga imasu. There are people in there, right? You know, you could say toire ga arimasu. They definitely have a restroom, right? You know, so there could be all kinds of things you could say for that. じゃあ6番を読んでください。はい。
That was
Roku.
number 6.
はい。
この教室、
はい。
この教室に誰がいますか?
はい。誰がいますか? じゃあライアンさんどうぞ。
先生がいます。
はい、いいですね。この教室に私がいます。学生たちもいます。Right? We could say エリさんがいます。姫菜さんがいます。マリアンさんがいます。Right? 君さんがいます。 Uru-san ga imasu, Ryan-san ga imasu, right? And so you can list any or however many you want of the people who are in a place for a question like that. じゃあ7番どうぞ、ライアンさん。
動物園
はい。
動物園に何がいますか？
はい。動物園に何がいますか？動物園 means what? Zoo. So if it's using imas in the question, then they're specifically asking about the animals that are in the zoo, right? What creatures are in the zoo as opposed to what things, right? So 動物園に何がいますか? So, 皆さん any idea?
動物がいます。
はい、動物がいます。There you go. 動物 means animals. The N part of 動物園 is the park meaning, right? So 公園 is public park. Okay. 動物園 is literally animal park. And if you break it down further, 動物 do means moving, 物 means things. So it's moving things. Animate things are animals, right? 動物. Okay, so 動物園 is the moving things park. Okay, so, and we haven't really learned a lot of zoo animal words yet, so I'm not sure why they stuck that one in there, but they did. So 動物がいますね。じゃあ8番読んでください。皆さん。
あなたの国に何がありますか？アンデスがあります。Oh, I started.
Okay. Say again?
アメリカ人がいます。
Okay, アメリカ人がいます。はい。And you could also say something like 山があります。川があります。Mountains and rivers. You could say, you know, 町があります。Cities. You know, there are lots of things you could say for that, right? Okay. 国に何がありますか? Okay. じゃあ9番、エリさん読んでください。
あなたの家に何がありますか?
Right, so Will-san, what would you say? あなたの家に your house 何がありますか?
時計があります。
はい、時計があります。Yeah, that works. 椅子もありますね。椅子 chairs? Yes. テーブルもあります。Probably. テーブル。
はい。
机もありますね。A desk? Probably at least one, right? So you can say lots of things for some of these, right? Some of these are very open-ended questions. じゃあ次。Okay. So that's the time. So let's look at Takeshi's schedule for the week, and they're going to ask us and answer us. We're going to ask and answer questions about his schedule. Okay, so we know the days of the week. We've just covered them, right? And so we're going to find out what he has on different days. So we're now seeing that you can use arimasu also for more abstract things that you can have, not just solid objects, but also like you have a class in French or you have a history class. You can use arimasu for that as well. Okay, so Buddha-san, I'm going to ask you to read the example question, and Kimi-san is going to read the example answer.
月曜日にフランス
フランス
語のクラスがありますか?
はい、あります。
はい、ありますね. Okay, so you see that, right? In the schedule it says during school, French, English, and computer classes, and then after school is blank, meaning he doesn't have any scheduled activity. Okay? So 月曜日にフランス語のクラスがありますか？はい、あります。じゃあ、キミさん、1番読んでください。Just read the question.
月曜日に、英語の
クラス。
クラスがありますか？
Okay, so マリアンさん。月曜日に英語のクラスがありますか？
はい。
Okay, finish this sentence.
はい
はい。
英語クラスがあります。
はい、英語の
英語
クラス
英語のクラス
が
が
ありま
ありますす。
Or you can just say はいあります。Either one. But if you're gonna use the longer sentence, you have to keep all the particles. Okay? So 英語のクラスがあります。はい。じゃあ2番読んでください。
You just want me to read it? Sorry. 火曜日にコンピューター
はい。
コンピューターのクラスがありますか？
マリアさん。火曜日にコンピューターのクラスがありますか？はい。
いいえ。コンピューターのクラスがありますか？
ありませんね。はい。ありがとう。じゃあ3番読んでください。
木曜日にフランス語のクラスがありますか？
いいえ、ありません。
はい、いいですね。じゃあ皆さん4番読んでください。
Wait, I thought we were doing 4.
いや、4番。
Oh,
That's what I said.
I'm sorry, I thought you were he was in 4. 土曜日にクラスがありますか？
いいえ、ありません。
はい、いいですね。じゃあ5番読んでください。
水曜日に何がありますか？
英語のクラスがあります。
はい、そうですね。はい、じゃあ6番どうぞ。
金曜日に何がありますか？
皆さん。金曜日、Golden Day, Payday, Friday, right? So 金曜日に何がありますか？パーティー、はい、パーティーが
あります。
はい、パーティーがあります。英語のテストもありますね。はい。じゃあ7番読んでください。
日曜日に何がありますか？
はい。日曜日に何がありますか？さん。アルバイト。
アルバイト。アルバイトがあります。
はい、アルバイトがありますね。質問がありますか？ Any questions about these? Notice there's that あります again. 質問 means a question. 質問がありますか？ Are there any questions?
For number
はい。
5, could
Hi.
you just put the class?
水曜日に何がありますか？ What does he have on Wednesday?
Just put class.
クラスがあります。
Or
Well,
you want me to specify?
you could, but yeah, they're kind of asking for you to specify. So フランス語と英語とコンピューターのクラスがありますね。He's got all three of those. So you could list 1 or 2 or 3 of those classes. But I would say they're looking for more than just クラスがあります。
Alright.
Okay, let's look at the next one. So on this one, they're suggesting that you write down your own schedule for next week and ask each other what your plans are. So if you want to just very quickly jot down just one thing that's happening for you on each of those days. Something that you guys know how to say in Japanese probably. So, excuse me, Nihongo no kurasu or Eigo no kurasu or arubaito or whatever you want to list. If you want to quickly list in Japanese one item for each of the days of the week. And then we have even numbers today, so everybody can get with a partner and then do a little practice with partners after. So when you're done figuring out what you want to say about each of your days of the week, let me know and I'll pair you with whoever else is also done.
You don't do anything, you want us to just make it up.
Sure.
I don't do anything.
Well, you've got Nihongo no kurasu, you can just put that down for 2 days.
What if you work every day?
You could put arubaito down for some of the days. Do you have anything else going on besides arubaito and Nihongo no kurasu? Not really? Tsumaranai ne.
Really?
You could, put down some fake stuff, that you're gonna go see a movie or, have a party or whatever.
So we're using ga because we're using arimasu.
Yeah.
Is that the reason? Okay.
How do you write this say in gakusei? Like the kanji?
Oh, the kanji gakusei. It's the same.
I just want to know the stroke.
Oh, okay, the stroke order. It's the same as in sensei. It's ichi, ni, san,
Oh, those, okay.
like that.
Okay. So, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Because I thought the line would come after the second stroke.
Oh, some people do it that way, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is that okay too?
yeah, that's okay too. I think the textbook might show it that way, but I'm so used to Chinese order that I tend to just always do Chinese order rather than switching back and forth. And yeah, they do differ slightly sometimes between Chinese order and Japanese order for the stroke order of kanji. And I just, I can never keep it straight, so I generally just stick to the one that I learned first, which is usually, oh, they actually do the vertical line first before the
Okay.
second and third horizontals.
Okay, so this would
Yeah, so, yeah. Yeah, if you, yeah, so that, I definitely was doing it the same way that the book teaches it, but, yeah. There comes a point when you get comfortable enough with stroke order that you just kind of follow the rules as you feel them and you don't necessarily look it up every time. So, but it takes time to develop that.
yeah.
Question?
How would the question be? What do you do on Monday?
月曜日に何をしますか or 何がありますか So,木曜日にクラスがありますか or 水曜日に何がありますか So that's sort of a generic question, 5, 6, and 7. Ask it the most general way.
I have a question.
はい。
Why is it デパートにデパートがsays デパートに何がありますか
In the department store,
Oh,
what does
in.
it have? So it's not asking, is there a department store? デパートがありますか would be, is there a department store? but the pato ni nani ga arimasu ka would be what is in the department store, what is there inside of it. You see the difference?
Mhm.
That's a good question. Okay, does everybody have some stuff figured out? Okay. So the pattern for how you can ask can be very much like 5, 6, and 7 from the previous exercise. Just, that day, ni nani ga arimasu ka? Okay, and you can ask your partner that question, and then they'll ask you the question, and you can ask and answer about all the various days of the week until you've gotten the second half of the chart filled in. And of course, if you're not writing in your book and you want to do it on your note paper, that's fine too. Okay? So, let's see, who's ready? Who's got all their stuff figured out right now? Okay, you ready? Who else is ready?
I might be.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay, why don't you and Ellie get started? Be partners. Okay, and let's see. Looks like you got yours pretty much figured out.
Um, あなたの月曜日に何がありますか?
That works. Okay, so you want to partner with Mina-san for change?
アリバイト
For that often?
があります。
Okay, and Ryan-san to Luna-san? Okay, you guys haven't worked together much either, I don't think.
Just あなたの火曜日に何がありますか?
月曜日に何がありますか?
日本語があります。
日本語のクラスがあります。Is that what you were trying for? Yes. 日本語のクラス。
Oh, I didn't say, I didn't ask you what you wanted on Monday, I skipped to Tuesday.
Oh, well, that's fine.
I would prefer to go. I would go back.
先生、
はい。
are we getting our tests?
Not today, I'm not done recording them yet.
Did you make the Japanese too?
I'm working on it. I need to talk to the department
I don't
secretary.
mean to bug you about it.
No, it's
It's
a
just
reminder. I do need to
it's
talk to
getting
her about
close
it.
to the, you know.
Yeah, I do need to
Yeah.
talk to her about it. Yeah. So.
Okay.
日本語の
It doesn't just, okay, so.
Okay.
It's you.
あなたの日曜日に何がありますか?
日曜日に
Yes, or
デートがあります。デートデートがあります。
Yeah, I don't know. What are we supposed to answer?
No, you're supposed to write your partner's schedule down too. But I guess you don't have to. Okay. You just ask another question.
I think it's your turn.
Oh, yeah.
金曜日に何がありますか?
あなたの月曜日に何がありますか?
金曜
喫茶店があります。
vacation.
金曜日
Yeah.
の火曜日金曜
Kinyo. Oh, sorry. I'm
日
sorry.
No, it's okay.
Adaptando.
Wait, would it be like,
Um,
would it be
Today.
just like Kisaten ga arimasu? I have
That's right.
Sensei, when you say you're going to a location, do you still use the same form?
What's
Like
that?
Kisaten ga arimasu?
Yes.
Well, yeah, there is a coffee shop would be Kisaten ga arimasu, and then, you know, if you're going to it, then that would be a separate sentence, right?
Oh, okay, because she had asked me
What do you do
what I
on
do on Monday, and I wanted to say
I do like
I go to Starbucks, to the coffee shop.
Oh, okay, so you could say Kisaten ni ikimasu, for I go to.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
Yeah.
usually it's like I have or there is.
yeah. Yeah, so Kisaten ga arimasu just means a coffee shop is there, but it doesn't mean that you're going to it. So it, you know, because that's not an event. Most of these, you know, the classes and things are events, so that's why you can say you have it. But if you wanted to say you go to the coffee shop, you could say Kisaten ni ikimasu. Okay, so even though the question was in the arimasu format, if arimasu doesn't fit for your answer, you can switch verbs. Okay?
Okay.
With Kyobi, the that,
日本語のクラスがあります。
木曜日に何かあります。
日本語の
水曜日
クラス
に何が
が
あり
あります。
先生、
はい。
あなたの水曜日に何がありますか？
あ、ホームワーク。
宿題です。
Another.
はい。
One second.
I was gonna say 映画があります。
Hmm?
I wanted to say I'm gonna watch a movie. 映画。It would be 映画。
映画を見ます。
映画を見ます。映画を見ます。
映画。
My turn? No, I just asked you. Yes. I just asked you what were you doing next. So it's your turn to ask.
yeah.
It's 15 minutes.
Kinyo,
土曜日に
何
何が
何ですか？何日？
パーティーがあります。
So
How do you like to
how come this party
Because it says I have a party. Not like I'm going to a party.
Yeah,
Oh,
you,
okay.
So like,
Yeah.
it would be like party ni ikimasu. It was like I was going to a party, but if I'm having a party.
party ga arimasu. Yeah, you can do it either way. In this case, you know, if you're the one hosting the party, then party ga arimasu makes a lot of sense. But even if you've got plans to go to a party, since they're kind of talking about
Yeah.
these, I have this event in my life, kind of. You could say party ga arimasu even for, you know, you have plans to go to a party. Because, you know, it basically just talking about, I have this on my schedule, I have that on my schedule. You know, somebody's asking, well, what do you have planned for Thursday? I have this on my schedule, you know, that's kind of what this is doing.
How would you say on Sunday? Do I say I'm going to watch a movie?
ありますか？
映画あります。
日本語
or 映画に行く。
日本語の
You can say it either way. Eiga ga arimasu would be I have a movie, like I have plans to see a movie. Or you could say eiga ni ikimasu to say I'm going to a movie.
Okay. 映画があります。
Which day haven't we done?
映画
金曜日。あなたの金曜日に何がありま
ですすか。
金曜日。映画を見ます。
じゃあ土曜日に何がありますか。
あなたの金曜日に何がありますか。
本屋があります。本屋
本屋？
そう。
Oh. 本屋に行きます。
本屋に行きます。
に
Yeah, that makes, the thing, the differentiation is that Honya isn't really an event, it's a place, right?
Okay.
There might be an event at the bookstore, but we don't know how to put all of that together in one thing yet,
Yeah.
right? So Honya ni ikimasu, and then if you wanted to have a sentence, you know, Honya de, I don't know.
本屋で本
Hon
を
o
読みます
yomimasu or honya de tomodachi ni aimasu, meet a friend at the bookstore, you know, or honya de tomodachi to hanashimasu, talk to a friend at the bookstore, you know.
日曜日
You know, but yeah, we're still doing very simple sentences right now.
Yeah.
We're not learning how to combine a lot of complex ideas together yet.
I don't have anything else.
I have two more that I need to ask.
Okay.
あなたの土曜日に何がありますか。
Now please open Walmart and there's a
映画を見ます。映画を見ます。
はい、映画を見ます。That works.
Oh, I live, you know where Beagle Braid is? On your own. Yeah, I live like behind it. Oh, we're close. Where you work? Oh, you work at McDonald's? That was good, I never see you. I'll drop by.
あなたの日曜日に何がありますか。
はい、いいですね。Okay. 皆さん終わりましたか Finished?
日曜
はい。はい。
日曜日。
Okay.
喫茶店にあります。
喫
喫茶店に行きます。
はい。
喫茶店に行きます。
はい。はい。じゃあ、次を見ましょう。Let's look at the next exercise. Did everybody get a pretty good idea of, you know, how to talk about their schedule and ask and answer questions about schedules? A little bit, okay. So, じゃあ、パート 2A を見ましょう。図書館はどこですか? So now that we've talked about what kinds of events you might have planned, now we're going to talk about locations of buildings in relation to one another. Okay, so let's look at 図書館. We're going to let Marianne-san read the example sentences there.
Here.
はい。
図書館は大学の後ろです。
はい. Okay. So let's look at the little diagram and see, you see where 図書館 is? And you see where 大学 is? You see the relationship between the two? So 図書館は大学の後ろです. Does everybody see how the structure is put together? Okay. Any questions about that one? はい.
We can choose any store,
Right.
right?
Right.
The example under says Super no Tonari.
Okay, so yeah, so you can, yeah, let's read the second sentence. Ryan-san, why don't you read the second sentence there? Second example.
The second example.
Yeah. Under the red, under the sentence she just read, there's a second sentence
Okay.
there. Toshokan wa.
図書館はスーパーの隣です。
はい、toshokan wa super no tonari desu. So you can see that in terms of identifying the location of the toshokan, you can explain it in relation to daigaku, or you can explain it in relation to suba, because it's near both of those, right? You see what I'm talking about? So that answers Himena's question, right? You can come up with whatever sentence you want about the one that is going to be your turn. Make sense? So, Himena-san, 1番やってください。
郵便局はホテルの隣です。
本当ですか？
Oh,
You
wait,
mean-
I郵便局は病院の
はい、
です。
病院の前です。Very good. So when it's across the street from something, that's also mae. Okay? So 郵便局は病院の前です。いいですね。じゃあ、エリさん、2番お願いします。
喫茶店は郵便局の左です。
Actually, that's not exactly
Oh.
right, because do you see how they're
Oh, it's
you being
inside?
yeah,
the-
Kissaten is pointing to inside the
Oh, I thought it
hotel.
was like right
Yeah, it looked like it was
there.
right there, but there's no building drawn there. See?
Mhm.
So I know it's a little bit confusing
I
picture.
thought like you couldn't see the building or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
So try one more time. Kissaten.
喫茶店はホテルの中です。
はい、そうですね。喫茶店はホテルの中です。Okay. じゃあ4番、ウェルさん、どうぞ。
バス停は大学の前
はい
です。
はい、そうですね。バス停は大学の前です。じゃあ、キミさん、4番お願いします。公園
公園はホテルの後ろです。
はい、そうですね。公園はホテルの後ろです。じゃあ5番、ね、マリアさん、スーパー。
スーパーは図書館の右
はい、
右だ。
はい、そうですね。スーパーは図書館の右です。or スーパーは図書館の隣です。That works also. 隣 just means next to. Right? じゃあ6番、ライアンさん。
病院は
はい、病院は
大学の左。
Okay, 病院は大学の左です。Or you could also say 病院は大学とホテルの間です。That's the more challenging way to say it, right? But it's also more descriptive, right? Because it gives you 2 points of reference. So if you've got something that's between, that's the structure, okay? So 病院は大学とホテルの隣の間 sorry 病院は大学とホテルの間です and to use people in this room as an example I could say 姫菜さんは Ryan-san とエリさんの間です。Right? So when you have something that's between two other things, you can describe it that way as well. Okay. So let's see, we've got a few more minutes. Let's try to do a couple more sentences.
For the same?
はい、for B. So let's look at the example for B.
Okay. 本は机の上です。
はい、机の上ですね。はい、じゃあエリさん1番。
鉛筆は机の上です。
はい、そうですね。机の上です。Okay、2番。小倉さん。ラケット。
ラケットは机の下です。
はい、そうですね。はい、じゃあキミさん3番。OK。
時計はテレビの前です。
はい、テレビの前です。はい、じゃあ4番。マリアンさん。Old fashioned 電話。
カバンは
電話。
電話
4番、電話。
4番。
電話。電話。
How are you putting it together?
Okay. You want to say it's in front of the TV or next to the clock or what?
On top of the table.
Okay, so 電話は
That's what was confusing me. I don't know
Okay.
if I could say denwa.
Yes.
電話は
テーブル。
テーブルの下。No, sorry.
上です。はい。はい。電話はテーブルの上です。Okay, let's finish up the last two real quick. ダイアンさん5番。
カバンは机の下です。
はい。じゃあ帽子。姫野さん。
帽子はドアの隣です。
はい、そうですね。いいですね。質問がありますか? Any questions about those? So does everybody feel like they've got some idea now how to do location stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
Next Thursday, are we just going to be doing the exercises? Reviewing?
For the most part, we'll probably start from, we'll probably do some vocab and kanji drill real quick, and then we'll start from part C there, asking and answering where buildings are, and then going on to segment 3, and probably segment 4. I don't know if we'll get to 5 or not.
Okay, because I'm getting my wisdom teeth taken out.
Oh gosh. So you probably won't be in any condition to be here on Thursday.
No, I'm getting in the morning too. So.
Oh, okay.
I have a question.
Well, good luck with that.
Have we gone over Ga?
Not very much. That Ga is one of,
pieces like that, like
yeah, Ga is one of those things that